Hello everyone and welcome to yet another video where I walk you through an English exam explaining what the answers are and why the answers are the answers. And this particular question we're looking at is a CAE Advanced Listening Part 1 question. And this question you can find on the excellent website engexam.info. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Plenty of resources for the English exam that you might be doing, so it's well worth checking out the website. And this website is really good in terms of explaining why the answers are the answers. I'll explain more about that a little bit later on. So about the listening part 1 question for the CAE Advanced exam. You've got 3 listenings to listen to, and each listening you've got 2 questions. And all of the questions on the exam, on this particular part 1 question, are multiple choice. So you've got a question, choose the correct answer, whether it's A, B or C. Now, with all of the listening questions, there will be plenty of traps here in the listening. So if you read through the answers before you do the listening, which I recommend that you do, when you do the listening, you'll actually hear reference to all of those answers. So you have to ask yourself have to carefully read the question and ask yourself, what is the answer, bearing in mind exactly what the question says and the context which is being presented. So bearing all of those things in mind, let's get stuck into the question. Now, I've made myself a little bit smaller, and the reason for that is so that you can see the tape script above my head. A really good way to find out why the answer is the answer in the listening exam is simply to go through the tape script and read what's being said. And as you're reading, obviously you can't do this during the exam, but in terms of preparing for the exam, I really recommend that you do this. And the wonderful thing about this website, engexam, is that they highlight where the answers are. So if I just scroll you here they underline all of the relevant text, which tells you why the answer, or at least tells you where the answer is. I'm going to explain to you why the answer is the answer, but it gives you a good clue to tell you the vocab that you should have heard and the vocabulary link between the answer and the question. So let's start to have a look through those. Now, question number 1 was all about an interview, or rather, you hear part of an interview with a woman who works in retail management. How does the woman feel now about her first job in retailing? So the answers might be that she's pleased by the way she handled the staff, confident that it gave her a good start, or relaxed about the mistakes she made. The answer is highlighted here above my head, as you can see. It was a good grounding. It was a good grounding. What does it was a good grounding mean? If you have a good grounding in something, it means that you have a good beginning or a good start in something. So this is great vocabulary link. If you weren't aware of this synonym, a good start, a good beginning, a good grounding, then make a note of that now. And that's why the answer is number 1, because good start means the same as good grounding. And it's confidence. We get the idea of confidence as well in the text by looking at the context of what she says beforehand. Every week you would see the sales figures for your product and then act on that by repeating orders or putting a new style in. It was a good grounding. So these activities that she was doing gave her confidence, gave her experience, and that's the reason why it was a good start. Now, is she pleased by the way that she handled the staff? No, she's not. She says here, I made mistakes in my dealings with them. I blush now to think of my time there. If you blush, it means that you're embarrassed for a reason. So it's not that she was pleased by the way she handled the staff, but rather she was embarrassed by the mistakes that she made with the staff. And as a result, she wasn't relaxed about her mistakes, because the idea behind blushing is that you are embarrassed. So it can't be A or C. The answer has to be B. For question number 2, if I just scroll this up, what is the woman advised to do next? And we see this in this part of the listening script, and it says she would like to eventually be in senior management. And then the interviewer is giving her some advice, which relates directly to the question. So it says here, I think you need to work out skills you can offer, emphasizing your selling points, showing them what you can do. So this really goes on to A, which is reflect on her skills. If you reflect on something, it means that you think about that thing. You think about that thing and you analyze that thing. And we can see that in the text here. I think you need to work out skills you can offer. So you need to think about the skills that you can offer and then emphasize. In other words, highlight or draw attention to your selling points, showing them what you can do. So this is all about reflecting on her skills, which is why the answer is A. There's nothing here about volunteering specifically. There is some information here. Also, have you been going the extra mile? So it indirectly talks about volunteering, but not specifically, and we're looking for specific vocabulary links. So the answer isn't B. And is the advice she's getting to discuss her situation with her boss? No, line manager is the vocabulary link to boss, but here it says before you rush off to see your line manager. So not discuss the situation with your boss, but before you meet the boss. So that's why the answer is not B or C, and the answer is A. Okay, for extract number 2, the story changes a little bit about you overhear a woman telling a friend a story about a swan. What problem did the woman have with the swan? Well, we can see here, it's underlined for number 3. I'd never had done that if I'd known what would happen. Perfect third conditional. Perfect third conditional. In other words, the answer is C. She failed to realize the consequences of disturbing it. If I'd never have done that, if I knew what was going to happen, in other words, if I knew what the consequences were, I clearly wouldn't have done that. It would have been a crazy idea. So this is the vocabulary link between C and the text. Does she misunderstand its intentions? No, because she says it was immediately obvious from his body language. So there's no question of misunderstanding here. Did she underestimate the speed of its approach? No, because she says it was approaching at incredible speed. So the text directly goes against A and B. For question number 4, it says, what is the man's reaction to the story? And this all refers to the underlined text here, where the friend says, I'm sure he wouldn't have hurt you, and the woman says, are you kidding? And the key here is the context in which are you kidding is said, because are you kidding might be said in surprise, or if someone is unconvinced. So you might think it's B because are you kidding is said when someone is unconvinced. But we've got to pay attention to the question. What is the man's reaction to the story? Here it's the woman who says, are you kidding? Not the man. So it's not that he is unconvinced. Is that the language about being unconvinced is said by the woman. So you've got to be particularly careful about who is saying what. Does he feel he would have handled the situation better? There's nothing that he says that refers to that. It says, no, I suppose not. Still, I'm sure he wouldn't have hurt you. There's nothing there that says, I would have done this or I would have reacted differently. So here the answer is C, where he says, I'm sure he wouldn't have hurt you, bearing in mind the context of the aggression of the swan. So he fails to see how serious the problem was, and she says, and then we go back to that language, are you kidding? In other words, you misunderstood the situation, and that's why the answer is C. And lastly, for extract 3, you hear part of an interview with Bruce Loader, a successful businessman who's talking about his early life. First question is, why did Bruce decide to give up the idea of studying art? As we can see in the listening text, the answer is highlighted. All the college tutors said, forget representational art, da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. So, in other words, all of the college tutors are saying, don't do what you think, don't do what you want to do something instead. In other words, get a camera and start taking photographs. So, and then it goes on to say, and you believed them? I did. So it's not just a suggestion, it's that it was It was persuasion. They told him to do something and he actually acted on it. So that's why the answer is C. He didn't become tired of doing representational art. He didn't even begin. Did he fail to get a place at art college? No, because he said, I think somewhere in the text, but every college I went to, and there were 3 who accepted me. So he got accepted into art colleges. So it's not A and B. The answer clearly is C. And for number 6, it says, what was his father's reaction to Bruce's decision? And the text is highlighted here. How did the father react to Bruce's decision? And we've got that exactly with the question from the interviewer. How did your father react when you told him you weren't going to art college? His face was white with rage. Rage is a synonym of anger, fury. And so that links directly to B. He was angry that a good opportunity had been wasted. And he says, and we can see this later on, you could have made something of going to college. You won't get another chance. So this is talking about a wasted opportunity. If we have a look at the rest of the answers, it says he was anxious to discuss alternative employment options. Not really. He says, I've got a choice. I've got something for you to do. Not that I want to discuss this. He says, rather the father says, you're doing this. That's not a discussion. And was he dismissive of the advantages of higher education? No, because he says, you could have made something of going to college. So this goes against the idea that higher education wasn't good or that he was dismissive of higher education. Okay, I hope you followed me as I was going through the answers. Hopefully you can see why it's such a good idea to do the listening and then to go back through the listening with the script if this is available to you, because it helps you to review what was being said and make those vocabulary links between the question and the answers, and to see how those vocabulary links work, and then also to see why the other answers are not the answers. And it's through practicing this, practice, you'll get better and better and better. And of course, by reading the listening scripts, you'll open yourself up to more vocabulary, more structures, and slowly but surely, you'll get used to the idea of the part 1 listening exercise, and you will get better marks in the future. So thank you very much for watching this. If you agree or disagree with me, or if you want to discuss any of the answers, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I love having the discussion with you guys about what you think about my videos and about the answers. And I'll see you again soon with another walkthrough video.